You're standing at the edge of a decision that could change everything. You know what you need to do. You've read the books, watched the videos, listened to the podcasts. The knowledge is there, crystal clear in your mind. Yet something invisible keeps holding you back. While chaos swirls around you, economic uncertainty, global tension, technological disruption, others somehow manage to find golden opportunities amidst the storm. What do they know that you don't? What invisible force separates those who merely survive from those who thrive in any circumstance? The answer lies not in more information, another strategy, or a secret tactic. It lives in a mental state so powerful that Napoleon Hill devoted his entire life to understanding it after witnessing its effects in the most successful people of his era. A mental state that magnetizes opportunity, even in times of absolute chaos. A mental state that you already possess but have been systematically trained to suppress. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal how to activate this dormant power within you. The same power that transformed ordinary individuals into extraordinary success stories during the worst economic collapse in American history. This isn't theory. This isn't wishful thinking. This is the documented reality of how opportunity finds those who cultivate a specific mental frequency, even when everyone else sees only disaster. The question is, are you ready to tune in, or will you continue to let life's greatest opportunities pass you by while you wait for better conditions? Your mind is the most powerful force in your universe, yet you've been using it against yourself without even realizing it. Right now, as you consume these words, your brain is making approximately 35,000 decisions. Most of these decisions happen below your conscious awareness. They determine what you notice and what you ignore, what feels possible and what feels impossible, what opportunities seem available to you and which ones remain completely invisible. While the world around you may indeed be chaotic, the true chaos exists within the unchecked patterns of thought that determine everything you experience. Napoleon Hill discovered this truth through his 25-year study of the world's most successful individuals. These weren't just wealthy people, they were individuals who thrived specifically during times of extreme adversity. When the Great Depression wiped out fortunes overnight, certain individuals not only survived, but emerged stronger than ever. Hill found they shared one common trait: a mental state that transformed problems into opportunities. Your current results aren't a reflection of the world's chaos. They're a precise reflection of your internal mental state. The prison isn't out there, it's in here, and you built it yourself, one thought at a time. Look around at your life right now. Every circumstance, relationship, bank balance, and opportunity, or lack thereof, is the exact manifestation of your predominant mental state. Not what you hope for, not what you occasionally visualize, but the thoughts you consistently return to hour after hour, day after day. What mental state are you broadcasting to the universe right now? Is it one of limitless possibility or one of cautious limitation? Is it a frequency that attracts opportunity or one that repels it? Because, whether you realize it or not, you are broadcasting, and the world is responding in kind. Today, you stand at a crossroads. Will you continue living in reaction to circumstances, or will you finally take command of the one thing you have absolute control over: your mental state? The person you'll be 1 year from now is being determined by the choice you make in this moment. There are two fundamental ways of viewing the world, and you are firmly anchored in one of them right now. The security mindset sees chaos as a threat. It seeks stability, certainty, and safety above all else. It asks, how can I avoid pain? How can I prevent loss? How can I maintain what I have? This mindset feels responsible and prudent. It seems like the smart way to navigate an unpredictable world. But it comes with a devastating price. It blinds you to the very opportunities that could transform your life. The opportunity mindset, by contrast, sees chaos as a breeding ground for possibility. It asks entirely different questions. What's emerging now that wasn't possible before? Where is value being created? How can I position myself at the forefront of this change? This mindset doesn't deny reality. It simply recognizes that disruption always creates new openings for those prepared to see them. Napoleon Hill observed this distinction repeatedly among those who thrived during the Great Depression. While most people contracted in fear, selling assets at devastating losses and retreating from the market entirely, others recognized that fundamental value remained and, in many cases, was available at unprecedented discounts. They didn't just survive the chaos, they used it as a catalyst for accelerated growth. The distinction isn't about positive thinking versus negative thinking, it's about where you direct your attention and energy. The security mindset focuses on what might be lost. The opportunity mindset focuses on what might be gained. And here's the critical insight. Both mindsets create self-fulfilling prophecies. Right now, you're making a choice between these two mindsets, whether consciously or unconsciously. Your social media feeds, news consumption, and daily conversations are either reinforcing a security mindset or cultivating an opportunity mindset. There is no neutral position. You are becoming more opportunity-focused or more security-focused with each passing day. Which mindset will you choose to develop starting today? Will you continue to seek the illusory comfort of security, or will you embrace the proven path of opportunity recognition? The quality of your entire future hinges on this single decision. Your brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons, capable of forming more connections than there are stars in the known universe. Yet you're using only a fraction of this potential. The mental state that Napoleon Hill discovered, the one that magnetically attracts opportunity even in chaos, isn't something you need to acquire. It's something you need to activate. It's already within you, dormant, waiting to be switched on through consistent, deliberate practice. Hill called this mental state definiteness of purpose, and he observed that it altered the very electromagnetic frequency that successful individuals broadcast to the world. Modern neuroscience has validated Hill's observations. When you focus intensely on a specific outcome with emotional conviction, your reticular activating system, the filtering mechanism in your brain, begins to notice opportunities related to that outcome that were always present but previously invisible to you. It's like tuning a radio to a specific frequency. Suddenly, signals that were always in the air become crystal clear. But activation requires more than casual interest or fleeting attention. It demands what Hill called a burning desire, an emotional commitment so powerful that failure becomes impossible in your mind. This isn't about wishful thinking. It's about creating such clarity of purpose that your entire nervous system becomes aligned with your objective. Think about a time when you became completely obsessed with acquiring something, a job, a relationship, a possession. Remember how opportunities related to that desire seemed to appear almost magically. That wasn't coincidence. It was your brain operating on the opportunity frequency, filtering reality in a fundamentally different way. The chaos around you contains exactly the opportunities you need to create extraordinary success, but only if you're broadcasting on the correct frequency to receive them. Most people are tuned to the frequency of fear, scarcity, and protection. Is it any wonder they see only threats in times of change? Right now, in this moment, you can make the decision to retune your mental frequency. Will you continue operating on the wavelength of limitation that's brought you your current results? Or will you deliberately activate the opportunity frequency that Hill discovered in the world's most accomplished individuals? The choice and its consequences belong entirely to you. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This isn't motivational rhetoric, it's neural reality. Napoleon Hill's most powerful discovery wasn't about individual mindset alone. It was about what happens when minds operating on the opportunity frequency come together with shared purpose. He called this the mastermind principle, and he considered it the single most important factor in extraordinary achievement. When you surround yourself with people focused on problems, limitations, and fear, your own mental state inevitably tunes to that same disempowering frequency. Your neural networks literally reconfigure to match your environment. But when you deliberately create or join a group focused on opportunity, growth, and possibility, something remarkable happens. Your capacity to recognize and seize opportunities multiplies exponentially. Hill documented how Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and other titans of industry relied not just on their individual genius, but on carefully curated groups of opportunity-minded individuals. These weren't casual associations. They were deliberate combinations of minds, united by common purpose and committed to maintaining the mental state that attracts success. Look at the 5 people you communicate with most frequently. Are they operating primarily from the security mindset or the opportunity mindset? Do they see chaos as something to fear or something to leverage? Do they spend more time discussing problems or possibilities? Their mental state is programming yours with every interaction, whether you realize it or not. The most immediate and powerful way to shift your mental frequency is to reconstruct your social environment. This doesn't mean abandoning existing relationships. It means intentionally adding relationships with those already operating at the frequency you aspire to reach. Every conversation is either lifting your mental state toward opportunity, recognition, or dragging it toward problem fixation. Today, you face a choice that will determine the trajectory of your success more than almost any other factor. Will you continue to allow your mental state to be programmed by default through random associations? Or will you deliberately engineer a mastermind environment that elevates your thinking to the frequency where opportunity becomes abundantly visible? Your future self is being created right now by this decision. Choose wisely. The chaos you fear is actually the greatest gift you could receive, if you know how to use it. Throughout history, periods of massive disruption have created more millionaires and billionaires than times of stability ever could. The Great Depression, World War II, the dot-com crash, the 2008 financial crisis, each of these chaotic periods obliterated outdated systems while simultaneously creating unprecedented opportunities for those prepared to see them. Napoleon Hill documented how Clarence Saunders lost his entire Piggly Wiggly grocery fortune in the early 1920s market crash, only to use that devastating setback as the catalyst for inventing the first self-service grocery store model. By shifting his mental state from victim to visionary, he turned catastrophic loss into the foundation for an entirely new industry that generated millions in fresh wealth. Chaos creates opportunity through 3 specific mechanisms. First, it exposes inefficiencies and weaknesses that remained hidden during stable times. Services, products, and business models that barely worked in good conditions completely collapse under pressure, creating urgent demand for better solutions. Second, it forces rapid adaptation and accelerated change. Innovations that might have taken decades to implement happen in months or even weeks when necessity demands it. Third, it redistributes resources, attention, and market share at unprecedented speed. Established players cling to old models, while emerging leaders quickly capture new territory. The true secret isn't just surviving chaos, it's positioning yourself to thrive because of it. This requires developing what Hill called the capacity to see the opportunity in every difficulty rather than the difficulty in every opportunity. This isn't an inborn trait. It's a mental discipline that can be cultivated through deliberate practice. Right now, the world is experiencing multiple layers of disruption, simultaneously technological, economic, social, and environmental. Most people are responding with anxiety, retreat, and the desperate hope that things will return to normal. But those operating on the opportunity frequency recognize that normal never returns after systemic disruption. Something new emerges, and that emergence contains the seeds of extraordinary possibility. Will you continue to resist the chaos, yearning for a stability that never truly existed? Or will you embrace the accelerated opportunity that only chaos can provide? This single shift in perspective, seeing disorder as the breeding ground of new order, separates those who merely endure change from those who harness it for unprecedented growth. The choice is yours. But understand that in making it, you're deciding not just what you'll do in chaotic times, but who you'll become through them. Without absolute clarity about where you're going, you'll never recognize the opportunities designed to take you there. Napoleon Hill identified definiteness of purpose as the starting point of all achievement. This wasn't just goals. It was the development of an unwavering focus so powerful that it reorganized the entire personality around a single dominant aim. Hill discovered that when this clarity reached sufficient intensity, it developed an almost supernatural ability to attract the exact resources, connections, and circumstances needed for its fulfillment. The mind operating without definiteness of purpose is like a ship without a rudder at the mercy of every wind, wave, and current. It reacts to circumstances rather than creating them. It sees chaos as threatening rather than revealing. It misses opportunities that stand in plain sight because it has no organizing principle to recognize their relevance. Think about your current situation with brutal honesty. Do you have absolute clarity about your dominant aim? Could you state in a single sentence exactly what you're committed to creating or becoming? Or are you drifting between multiple interests, dividing your energy, waiting to see what circumstances might bring? Clarity creates power. Ambiguity creates powerlessness. When your mind knows precisely what it seeks, it develops an almost preternatural ability to recognize pathways that remain completely invisible to the ambiguous mind. This isn't mystical. It's the natural function of your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters millions of inputs to focus only on what's relevant to your dominant concern. Hill documented how Henry Ford maintained absolute clarity about creating affordable automobiles for the masses, even when financial chaos and production challenges threatened to destroy his company multiple times. This definiteness of purpose allowed him to recognize opportunities in problems that would have devastated someone with less clarity. When material shortages threatened production, his single-minded focus led him to create vertical integration, securing his supply chain and dramatically increasing profits. Today, you stand at a decision point. Will you continue drifting without the compass of definiteness, reacting to whatever chaos presents itself? Or will you establish with absolute clarity the single dominant purpose that will organize your perception, your decisions, and your actions into a coherent force? Your ability to recognize opportunity in chaos depends entirely on this choice. Make it now, not someday. The person you'll become is waiting on the other side of this decision. The obstacles in your path aren't blocking your progress. They are your progress if you have the wisdom to use them. Napoleon Hill made a fascinating discovery during his 25-year study. The most successful individuals didn't just overcome adversity. They actively used it as the raw material for their greatest achievements. He called this the adversity advantage, and it represents perhaps the most counterintuitive aspect of the opportunity mindset. The conventional approach to obstacles is to view them as unfortunate barriers to be avoided or eliminated as quickly as possible. But Hill observed that exceptional achievers developed a fundamentally different relationship with adversity. They recognized that obstacles contain hidden advantages unavailable through any other means. First, obstacles eliminate competition. Most people retreat when faced with significant challenges, creating vacuums of opportunity for those willing to advance. Second, obstacles force innovation. When the obvious path is blocked, you must discover new approaches that often prove superior to the original plan. Third, obstacles build credibility and authority. Overcoming significant challenges demonstrates capacity in ways that easy success never can. Fourth, obstacles reveal hidden weaknesses in your strategy, allowing you to strengthen foundations before catastrophic failure occurs. Consider how Thomas Edison's most significant breakthroughs came directly from seemingly devastating setbacks. When a fire destroyed his laboratory in 1914, destroying years of work and causing damage worth millions in today's currency, he famously remarked, "All our mistakes are burned up. Thank God we can start anew." By the following morning, he had begun rebuilding, incorporating improvements that would have been impossible in the original facility. The disaster became the catalyst for his greatest period of innovation. This isn't about positive thinking or denying reality. It's about training your mind to automatically search for the advantage contained within every adversity. It's developing the habit of asking, "Where's the opportunity in this problem?" rather than, "Why is this happening to me?" Right now, you face challenges that feel overwhelming. Personal obstacles, financial obstacles, relationship obstacles, health obstacles. These aren't random misfortunes derailing your progress. They're the raw materials for your greatest achievements. You develop the mental discipline to extract their hidden value. Will you continue to waste energy resisting the very challenges designed to create your breakthrough? Or will you embrace the adversity advantage that has transformed ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers throughout history? This single shift in perception, seeing obstacles as assets rather than liabilities, will determine whether chaos destroys your dreams or becomes the foundation for their fulfillment. The choice belongs to you alone. Choose now. Your imagination is the single most powerful tool you possess for recognizing opportunity in chaos. Yet, you've been trained to suppress it. Napoleon Hill identified the synthetic imagination, the ability to recombine existing ideas in new ways, as the primary faculty used by successful individuals to recognize opportunities invisible to others. But he reserved his highest praise for what he called the creative imagination, the faculty that can conceive entirely new possibilities without reference to existing patterns. Both forms of imagination enable you to perceive order where others see only chaos. Both allow you to envision possibilities that don't yet exist in physical form. Both give you the capacity to recognize patterns and connections that remain hidden to the logical mind alone. Yet, from early childhood, You've been systematically conditioned to devalue your imagination in favor of practical, logical thinking. You've been rewarded for finding the right answers rather than asking new questions. You've been trained to focus on what is rather than what could be. And as a result, your most powerful faculty for opportunity recognition has become dormant precisely when you need it most. The chaos swirling around you right now contains emerging patterns that your logical mind cannot possibly comprehend. The old rules no longer apply. The established pathways no longer lead where they once did. In this environment, imagination isn't a luxury, it's an absolute necessity for survival and success. Hill documented how Walt Disney used periods of financial chaos to imagine entirely new business models that his competitors couldn't conceive. While others clung desperately to existing formats, Disney used his creative imagination to envision theme parks that would transform entertainment forever. The very conditions that threatened to destroy his company became the catalyst for its greatest expansion. Your imagination needs daily, deliberate exercise to regain its power after years of neglect. This isn't daydreaming or wishful thinking. It's the disciplined practice of conceptualizing new possibilities, seeing connections between seemingly unrelated developments, and envisioning solutions to emerging problems before they become apparent to the masses. Today, you stand at a crossroads. Will you continue relying primarily on logical analysis of existing conditions, a strategy that keeps you perpetually reactive to chaos rather than creative within it? Or will you commit to reawakening your imagination through daily practice, developing the very faculty that allows exceptional individuals to see opportunity where others see only threat? The opportunity-rich future belongs to those who can imagine it before it exists. Will you be among them? Your emotions aren't just feelings. They're the gatekeepers that either reveal opportunities or hide them from your awareness. Napoleon Hill made a discovery that was revolutionary for his time but has been validated by modern neuroscience. Emotional states directly determine what possibilities you can and cannot perceive. He found that negative emotional states, fear, worry, resentment, doubt, literally blind you to opportunities that remain plainly visible to those in positive emotional states. This isn't about thinking happy thoughts. It's about developing what Hill called emotional self-discipline, the capacity to deliberately manage your emotional state regardless of external circumstances. The individuals who thrived during the Great Depression weren't immune to fear or uncertainty. They simply refused to let these emotions dominate their mental and physical state long enough to blind them to emerging opportunities. Your brain in a state of fear physically cannot process information the same way it does in a state of curiosity or excitement. Fear activates your amygdala and shuts down your prefrontal cortex, the exact part of your brain responsible for recognizing patterns, making creative connections, and seeing possibilities that don't yet exist. Look at your emotional state over the past week with complete honesty. What has been your predominant feeling as you've navigated the chaos around you? Has it been anxiety about what might be lost? Resentment about what has changed? Worry about what might come next? Or has it been curiosity about what's emerging? Excitement about new possibilities? Confidence in your ability to adapt and thrive? Your emotional state isn't just a reaction to circumstances. It's a choice that determines what aspects of reality become visible to you. And it's a choice you can make consciously rather than by default. Hill documented specific disciplines practiced by successful individuals to maintain opportunity-revealing emotional states even under extreme pressure. These included daily visualization of desired outcomes with intense, emotional engagement, physical movement to interrupt negative emotional patterns. Strategic questions that direct attention toward possibility rather than problem. Environmental design to minimize exposure to fear-inducing influences, regular immersion in success literature and biography. These weren't optional practices for exceptional achievers. They were non-negotiable disciplines considered as essential as eating or sleeping. Right now, you're making a choice about your emotional state, whether consciously or unconsciously. This choice will determine your ability to recognize the very opportunities you need. Will you continue allowing external chaos to dictate your internal state? Or will you take absolute responsibility for engineering the emotional conditions that make opportunity recognition not just possible but inevitable? The quality of your future depends on this single decision. Make it deliberately. Knowledge without action creates the most painful form of poverty, knowing what's possible but never experiencing it. Napoleon Hill's exhaustive research led him to a sobering conclusion. The mental state that attracts opportunity must be paired with decisive action, or it remains merely potential rather than power. The individuals who transformed chaos into extraordinary success weren't just opportunity spotters. They were opportunity seizers who acted with a speed and decisiveness that left their more cautious contemporaries perpetually behind the curve. Hill called this the habit of prompt decision, and he found it was often the single factor that separated those who recognized opportunities from those who actually capitalized on them. The window between opportunity emergence and opportunity disappearance continues to shrink in our accelerated world. What could once be decided over weeks now demands action within days or even hours. The chaos around you right now has created unprecedented opportunities in collapsed timeframes. But these opportunities won't wait while you gather more information, seek more validation, or wait for perfect conditions. They are available exclusively to those willing to act decisively with incomplete information and uncertain outcomes. This isn't about recklessness. It's about recognizing that in chaotic environments, the risk of inaction far exceeds the risk of imperfect action. Analysis paralysis isn't prudence, it's a form of fear disguising itself as thoroughness. Hill documented how Joseph Kennedy recognized the opportunity to purchase distressed real estate during the height of the Great Depression, when most investors were fleeing the market entirely, while others waited for clear signals that the bottom had been reached. Kennedy acted decisively on his assessment that fundamental value remained despite temporary price collapse. This single decision created generational wealth, precisely because others lacked the courage to act amid uncertainty. Look at your current approach to decision-making with ruthless honesty. How many opportunities have you recognized but failed to act upon? How many times have you substituted additional research for the decisive action that would have created real-world feedback? How often have you waited for perfect conditions that never arrived? The mental state that attracts opportunity means nothing without the decisive action that converts opportunity into reality. You can understand every principle Hill discovered, cultivate every mental faculty he recommended, and still find yourself watching others succeed with the very opportunities you recognized first but failed to seize. Today, you stand at the ultimate decision point. Will you continue gathering knowledge without applying it? Will you keep recognizing opportunities without acting on them? Or will you develop the habit of prompt, decisive action that transforms opportunity recognition from interesting theory into lived experience? Your future isn't determined by what you know or even what you see. It's determined by what you do with what you know and see. Decide now who you will become through your actions, not someday, but today. The mental state that attracts opportunities even in chaos isn't something you gradually drift into. It's something you decisively claim in a moment of commitment. Napoleon Hill discovered that transformation occurs not through incremental improvement, but through fundamental shifts in identity and perception. These shifts don't require years of preparation. They require only the courage to make an irreversible decision about who you are and how you engage with reality. The chaos swirling around you doesn't care about your past limitations or future intentions. It responds only to the frequency you're broadcasting right now. It brings opportunities exclusively to the person you've decided to be, not the person you hoped to become someday. Throughout this journey, you've discovered the specific mental state that attracts extraordinary opportunity, even in the most chaotic circumstances. You've learned how to activate the opportunity frequency, amplify it through strategic association, and maintain it through emotional self-discipline. You've seen how imagination, definiteness of purpose, and decisive action convert this mental state from mere potential into tangible results. The only question that remains is this: will you implement what you've discovered, or will you return to the familiar patterns that have created your current reality? This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's about making the fundamental decision that regardless of external chaos, you will maintain the internal state that magnetizes opportunity. You will see possibility where others see only threat. You will act decisively while others remain paralyzed by uncertainty. You will use adversity as your advantage rather than your excuse. Napoleon Hill's 25-year study revealed that this decision to operate consistently from the opportunity mindset, regardless of circumstances, represents the true dividing line between ordinary and extraordinary lives. Not talent, not education, not connections, or resources, or luck. The willingness to maintain the mental state that attracts opportunity even when every external influence pushes toward fear, contraction, and limitation. The transformation begins now, with your decision. Not tomorrow. Not when conditions improve. Not when you have more knowledge or better circumstances. Now, in this moment of truth that separates those who recognize wisdom from those who actually apply it. Will you step fully into the opportunity mindset that Napoleon Hill discovered in history's most accomplished individuals? Will you maintain it consistently through disciplined practice rather than fleeting inspiration? Will you act decisively on the opportunities it reveals? Your answer to these questions, not in words, but in immediate action, will determine everything that follows in your life. Choose now. Choose wisely. Choose irreversibly. Because, in the end, you don't just find opportunities. You become the kind of person to whom opportunities are magnetically drawn even in the midst of chaos.